Hi, I'm Solomon Paretsky, and I'd like to welcome you to a sales skill mini course on the two question types from Custom Skills Development. We're an organization that focuses on providing training and development to help commercial real estate agents grow their business and make more money with less effort. How about we get right down to business? We're going to start right now by talking about why these two question types are important and why they matter in your business. We'll go right into talking about the two types, the closed-ended follow me questions and the open-ended talk to me questions. We'll talk a little bit about how you can put these questions together, how you can use them in your business. Then we'll conclude with a couple of next steps you can take to keep growing as a commercial real estate specialist. So, why is this important? In the years I spent as a broker and manager, I talked to a lot of people who didn't have sales experience. And when I asked them what they thought sales was about, they always told me it was about the pitch. And they were wrong, because selling's really about two things. The first is getting to know your prospect and getting to understand what they're looking for. And then once you know what they're looking for, to move them forward to take advantage of the solution that you have to sell them, assuming of course it's the right solution. Well, doing that, those two different steps, which are really completely opposite, requires completely opposite skills. The first step is all about your ability to learn and to understand the client. The second is about your ability to ask the right questions and say the right things to influence the question. Well, just like there's two different ways you need to interact with a client, there's two different types of question you need to use to move them forward. The first is the traditional closed-ended follow me question. And the reason I like to call it a follow me question instead of a closed-ended question is traditionally the definition of a closed-ended question is it's a question that can only be answered yes or no. Will you pay me a 6-point fee? Do you want to lease this space? Well, the reality is there are a lot of questions that don't have yes or no answers that have the same impact. What year did you buy the building? How many square feet do you need? Questions that really have a simple one or two word fact, even though they're not closed-ended, have the same impact. And the primary impact of these questions are they kind of shut down a conversation. Are you going to sell the building? Yes. Okay. Will you sell it with me? It's when you have clients giving you a one-word answer, you're not creating a natural flow. When did you buy it? 1977. Okay. So it can kind of shut down conversation, and especially if you've ever listened to a new commercial real estate trying to talk to a client, you hear them asking the string of this question and the client just doesn't know what to do because they feel like they're being interrogated. The flip side is when you use these questions right, they can create momentum. And when you think about you're getting ready to close a client, and you begin to ask them a series of follow me questions where the answer is yes, now you're really moving them forward. So they can be a very powerful tool to impact the psychology of a sales interaction. But just bear in mind, they can be very powerful for good or very powerful for bad. And because of this, usually speaking, they're really most appropriate in that second half of the sales process when you're trying to move the client forward. When you want to move them forward, you either need to get a couple of last-second pieces of information to confirm, or you want to get them buying in. That's a great time to be asking a string of yes-no questions. Now, the open-ended talk to me question is really the opposite, and they can't be answered yes or no. They're not a simple fact. So instead of asking, when did you buy the building, the open-ended question would be, why did you buy the building? What makes your company think about leasing a new space? How will you reinvest the proceeds you'll get from selling your building? So they're detailed questions that are about more than simple fact, and the beautiful thing that it does is it creates a conversation. You're getting that client to open up by talking to them in a way that invites them to talk more rather than less. And one thing that we know is the more the client talks, the more likely they are to give you useful information. So that's why these talk to me questions are applicable really in both parts of the sales interaction. In the first part, where you want to understand their needs, you're going to get them talking, which is helpful. In the second part, periodically when you're trying to move forward, you may need to collect more information. It's there. You may need to slow things down a little bit. That's there. You've got the tool available to you to get them talking. So those are the two types of questions: the follow me closed-ended question, the talk to me open-ended question. Let's talk about how to get them into play in your business. The secret trick to identifying the follow me question is, does it begin with one of those awful verbs of being you might remember from third or fourth grade grammar? Is, are, will, do. Is this building held in a partnership? Are you going to sell? Will you pay me a full fee? Do you need to put a new roof on? Boom, boom, boom. I'm even talking faster as I discuss them. And what they do is they bring clients down a path. Whether you're bringing them down a path to close or you're just getting them to give you that last second bit of information you need, they're all about motivation. They're all about momentum and moving things forward. If you want to know what they sound like in the field, watch any legal TV show, any legal movie, and listen to the depositions. Most depositions are attorneys asking very short questions, controlling the answer that the person on the stand can give them, because the attorney already knows the answer. They already know what they want to get to. They're trying to get that witness talking to them to say what they want. That's what follow me questions are about. It's about creating a path. Talk to me questions. Who, what, where, when, why. The 5 W's. Tell and describe are other ones. Who do you own this building with? What is your strategy? Where else would you consider investing? When do you think the right time is for your company to move forward and lease new space? Why are you considering new space? Tell me about your investment strategy. So these wide open questions that begin with those 7 words: who, what, where, when, why, tell, describe. And what they do is they elicit your client's thoughts, they elicit their actions and their plans. They give you information that you can then use to move that client forward to action. Okay? Now it's funny, we think as commercial real estate agents, we think of ourselves as business people. If we want to be good at what we're doing, we should emulate either 3-year-olds or therapists, because both of those types of people are very good at asking these talk to me questions. Whether it's a young child asking, why is the sky blue, why this, why that, or it's a therapist trying to help their patient find their own solutions to their problems, both groups of people are very, very good at asking and using these talk to me questions. So the rules, are pretty simple. It's 4 or 5 words to begin a follow me question, 7 words to begin a talk to me question. The challenge is in getting the habit of asking the right question at the right time. And for most commercial real estate agents who are developing their skills, it's to remember to use the talk to me questions instead of the follow me questions. So it's not rocket science. All you need to do is get out there and just practice these skills. And you can practice these anywhere. You can do it with clients, you can do it with prospects, you can do it with coworkers, you can do it with significant others or friends or family. Just try to use these, especially those talk to me questions, those why questions, and get in the habit of using them so that when you're sitting down with a client, it rolls off your tongue naturally. And if you do that, you'll find your sales interactions are much more effective. So that's the class. I'd like to talk about a couple of things you can do to learn more and to move your skills forward even more quickly. Please visit Custom Skills Development on the web at www.customskills.com. When you come to our website, you learn all about our tools. We have Retool, which is a web-based application that helps you set up a business plan. It helps you set up activity standards, and it helps you develop your personal branding approach, all through our website. We have more free courses like this one. If you'd like to go more into depth, we have a number of paid courses that go into specific topics in detail, and you can take them as individual courses or as packages to help you develop your commercial real estate skills in a certain area. We have a blog that's focused on giving you tips you can use to make more money in less time. We've got a support program for commercial real estate managers who need help running their offices, who need access to tools and to training and to skill sets. And we've got custom coaching for both agents, managers, and all other types of commercial real estate professionals. That really ends our course. So I'd like to thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me. I hope you found this information helpful and fascinating, and I hope you visit the Custom Skills website at customskills.com to take advantage of all the training and development resources and tools that we have for commercial real estate professionals like yourself. Thank you very much again. Bye-bye.